For an elder statesman in the Manchester United dressing room who's currently wanting to talk about a new contract, he's found some form at the perfect time, Ashley, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He's probably been United's best player, I'd say, over the last 6 or 7 games. He's had quite a few injury problems over his career, especially the last couple of years. And now his contract's up, he seems to be fit.
What would you do if you were Jose?
I'd definitely keep him. I think he's a fantastic professional, first and foremost. He's a great influence on the younger players in the dressing room. And he's a very, very good pro. He works hard, trains hard. And you see that. Players that are on the edge of the first team football clubs, when they're called upon to come and play in the first team, you see how good professionals they are. Because if they can come in and look fit, hit the ground running, that means they're good professionals because they have to train hard because it's hard to come in from the cold and perform. And he's done that on numerous occasions this season, and now he's put himself in a team and he's in the shop window to make sure that he stays in that team.
We think that there's an option on United's side for another 12 months for him, but we also believe that he wants a little bit longer than that. The way that he's playing, how important he is to this United team at the moment, you'd go and give him what he wants if it's a couple of years, wouldn't you?
All he wants might be a bit too far.
Not if it's only 2 seasons.
No, he's playing very well. I think from United's point of view, they're probably having a look around for a left-back, I would say. And I think the positives that Ash is showing is not only, the performances that he shows at left wing-back, but that ability to be that player, if he comes off the bench even. I can see more of a role like that in the future for Ashley Young. So if United see that, or believe that a 2-year contract warrants that, then he thoroughly deserves that. And I think this season, the growth that he's showing, the responsibility that he's showing, the kind of that commanding aura that he's showing from a left wing-back position that has got him back into the England setup as well. Yeah, I would say, give it him. Look at the confidence of taking that free kick. It's unbelievable.
But he can play in numerous positions as well. He's not just a left wing. He plays right wing, left wing, left back, right back, left wing. He can play. That's what the beauty of having him in your squad. When there's problems, he can fill those gaps. And them players don't come around often, and they're vitally important to squads if you're looking to go and win trophies on different fronts too.
I think he'd be good in the dressing room with the young players as well. He's got the experience. Ashley, he's been with a team that's won leagues and won trophies. So he's a great example to show for these young players. And 2 years, I think, would be good for him.
Yeah. What did you make of Anthony Martial tonight? He's had an important role under Jose this season, on the score sheet again tonight.
Yeah, he has enough. He's electric. Once he gets the ball at his feet, he's almost unplayable at the moment. He's a fantastic footballer. His technique, his dribbling, and he keeps saying he wants to play up front. You're hearing them murmurs, and here the chance comes. He looks cool and composed, and clinical was the word we used in the first half, and especially with him. I think he's a wonderful talent. And you speak to players around the ground, they say this kid could be anything he wants to be.
Great finish.
Yeah, I say it's an improvement all round. They just seem to play a lot closer to Lukaku, and I think they all reap the rewards of that.
We had a little bit of a conversation in the ad break because I described the final goal as the goal of the night. You immediately said, "Are you sure? I'm not sure about the free kick." You thought the free kick was better to you than Jesse's strike at the end?
I think it was close, yeah. I think Jesse's had that kind of...
Very different goals.
Look, worry. From where he's picked it up, it's absolutely sensational. I have to say, I think the Watford defending slightly questionable. Kind of a foot that's dangled out there. But to have the fitness and the quality at the end of this, to be able to do this at this time of the game under the pressure that Manchester United were under, it was absolutely brilliant from Jesse. But, I suppose the free kick had that little bit of extra for me.
So you're not surprised, though. We've seen this day in day out from this kid, haven't we?
I was just thinking, this lad's got real talent. He gets in great positions. He's capable of doing this. We just need to see it more often now. And he hasn't really established himself in the first team. That's his next aim now. He has to, because me and Rio know he's got the ability. He's got great ability. Either foot, can score a goal, can make a goal. All the attributes you want from a number 10 stroke midfield player.
But the area of the pitch that he is in for United, that's so competitive. Jose's got so many options.
Yeah, it is, but we talked about versatility with Ashley Young before. This kid's the same. He can play off either side. He can play through the middle. He can play in a three-man midfield too.
Where do you prefer him?
I don't mind him off either side or behind the front man. I think he's capable because he's so intelligent with his movement to collect the ball off people. As long as you get him the ball, and I think what has to happen is the other players need to trust him a bit more because he gets in fantastic positions to turn and face the opposition's defence, but they don't give it to him all the time. And I think that comes from him as well, demanding and telling people, give me the ball, and saying, I'm here to play, I'm here to produce moments for you, but I need the ball in these positions. And I think that comes from devilment in the way he plays as well. And when he gets that turned as well, a couple of times me and Scholes will go, shoot, take him on. And I think he just needs a little bit of that to really establish himself.
You know what he is? He's one of those players, that the players out there playing with him will want to play with him to an extent. You know, they'll want him on the pitch. They know they get the best out of him. You know, there are players out there that play a little bit for themselves. You know, I think like Marcus Rashford and Martial, they want to go and do, you know, what they do is brilliant. But I think Lingard gives up a little bit of himself to make others better by working hard and linking everything together between midfield and attack.
Well, it was right. There were a couple of moments tonight where he was in a good position and he didn't get the ball.
Yeah, I think Rio was saying, you know, maybe they don't trust him enough. Maybe he's not the big name of a Mkhitaryan or somebody like that. But he's got that ability. He's got, I'd say, the same level of ability as Mkhitaryan. Like I said, he can score goals, he can make goals. What's his best position? That's another...
It's about him establishing himself.
Exactly, that's what I said. He has to establish himself now. He has to be more consistent. He has to produce more performances like that to make him a real first-team player. I don't think he's ever gone on from that bit part player really yet. But now he needs to. He's, what is he now, 23 maybe, 24? Now it's the time. He has to kick on from
on pure talent alone, he's got all the attributes to be a United player.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you ask anyone in that dressing room, they'll tell you the same thing. But I think also, Scholes was quiet. He's quite a quiet player on the pitch. But when you want the ball, you'd hear Scholes. If he wanted the ball, he'd let you know. And I think sometimes you've got to let people know you want the ball and tell them that you don't give it to me, I'm going to scream at you again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd hear me if he didn't get it. Anyway.
You didn't scream, did you?
He swore.
Yeah, like Rio said, there's very quiet players off the pitch. Yeah, very quiet off the pitch, but you can't afford to be on a football pitch. You need to be vocal if you want to be on the ball. Or, you know, you want the ball off these type of players. You have to be loud.
I would ask what you said, but it's probably a bad idea. So
it's too early.
It's far too early. Let's instead go to Jose Mourinho, who's talking goals more in the Premier League than Tottenham. When does the conversation end about Jose playing boring football?
Good question, Jake. Like you said,
You sound surprised.
Yeah, by a good question. Yeah. I don't know. You have to say they were good tonight. They were clinical. The goals they scored were really good in that first period. I think where they're going to be judged now is the big games. Yeah. You know, they have to start winning these games. You have to start competing because they haven't really. The Liverpool game away, there was poor. The Chelsea game, poor again. Saturday against Arsenal is a big game. Then they have to turn up in that game. That's when, you know, they'll get credit for winning games. Of course, well, you can't. It's very difficult to criticise when you're winning games, especially when you're scoring 4 goals. But these big games now, they've really got to turn up in these big games and win some of them games.
And of course, you can see that game live on BT Sport on Saturday evening. Let's talk about Romelu Lukaku. Will he be frustrated in that dressing room now that they've come into this game, scored 4 goals, dominated for long periods, and yet again he's not scored?
100%. He'll be in that dressing room now going, oh my gosh, what has happened? We've scored 4 and I've not scored. But what he will say, or what the people around him will be saying, you've got 2 assists. You've got a couple of shots off and got on target, but you've got 2 assists, set up 2 goals, and we've won by scoring 4 goals. Take some confidence from that. But strikers live and die by scoring goals. So there's no doubts in my mind that he'll be sitting there thinking that I'm disappointed not getting on the score sheet, considering we scored the 4 goals.
I felt like he got into better areas today, though. I think kind of the formation setup really suited him. I'd like to have seen him hit that one. He's just got to get into the 6-yard box. I don't get why he's hanging back. The chance is there to get in the 6-yard box. That's where goals were scored, and he didn't stick it away. I think he was very hesitant here. You know, he wasn't very clinical. He could have hit that then, really, straight away, first time. But takes a couple of touches, and obviously by then it gets away from him. But there were positive signs that he's coming back, and I thought he contributed a lot to the performance of Manchester United today. But obviously, you know, there are improvements in terms of putting it in the back of the net.
I remember Diego Forlan is a good example. He came to Manchester United, you were there at the same time, and he really struggled for a long time to get goals. What do you do when you're a player sharing a dressing room with a striker who's not scoring? What will those United players be doing?
They'll stick by and they'll try and help him. Possibly getting a bit of stick as well, a little bit of Mickey taking
almost certainly getting a bit
almost
of stick.
Definitely, yeah. But you know, there was a few incidents out there today when Pogba's like giving him little short passes and he's coming back into midfield. Well, you don't want him. I think he needs more direction from his midfield players. So get out my way. You get up there. You get on the shoulder. You get in areas where I can hit you. You're not good to me coming off as a number 10. Although tonight he was quite good. You know, he made a couple of goals from them positions, but I think he needs more direction from Pogba, more direction from Matic. Get in them areas, make them runs. You're quicker, you're stronger, you're bigger than anybody else, and I will find you. It's up to them then to find him.
But also, I think you have to understand that every striker goes through a patch like this. Harry Kane didn't score in August. Do you know what I mean? Got to stick. So he's going to go through patches, and this is inevitable.
This is one goal in 11 games, though. This is a stretch.
But again, today he's had an effect on the game. He's provided 2 assists, but he'll come out of this. But I think the bigger problem for him maybe is Zlatan Ibrahimovic being there mentally, having another striker, a big striker behind who wants to play. He knows that. That's a pressure from within that sometimes for some people find it hard to deal with.
Okay. After the break, we'll hear from Marco Silva, get his thoughts on the game, where Watford performed an admirable comeback. So that one particularly that Marco Silva's talking about, the penalty. The rule is that you have to have an intention to play the ball, and I think Ryan here, he wants to play the ball. The reality is he just doesn't do it very well, does he?
Yeah, he gets caught there, he gets stood up, caught square on, and then it's all about panic because he's in on goal, really. He feels he's going to get a shot off, and he just brings him down. So it's a good bit of skill, to be fair.
Troy Deeney takes a penalty, and you could see getting a goal back. Suddenly the Watford that we saw at the start of the game emerged. A Watford full of confidence, full of running, full of dynamism.
I think you felt that throughout the game. I know it was 3-0 at one point, but you never felt like Watford were playing badly. You always felt that, you know, if they got a goal, they might get 2, and they'd be right in it. It was a great ball, actually, from Correa. I think he made a big difference to Watford. He was quality. He got on the ball a lot. Great pass, and good finish as well.
So what went wrong tonight then for Watford? Was it simply coming out here with a plan, and it was a plan that went out the window when United got those quick-fire goals in the first half?
Well, yeah, look, I mean, goals do that to you, unfortunately. And, no matter how well you're playing, they can knock the stuffing out of you. From defence into midfield, the way they kind of played through the lines, I thought was brilliant at times. It really was. The top end of the pitch is where it always just fell apart. I think when we heard Ashley Young talking about earlier, when the positive start that Watford actually had and the issues they had, this is what we're talking about. Good deliveries into the box, getting into this stage of the pitch reasonably easy. But kind of that end product, I never really believed Andre Gray believed in himself tonight to an extent. I felt like the occasion kind of overwhelmed him a little bit. His touch was off. But more as a team, really. These are lovely little passes. Brilliant pass from Tom Cleverley into Hughes. Just the touch from Richarlison is perfect as well. So they get to there perfect, but then it just broke down on too many occasions. Then from that point, United just took over with their clinical passing. But as Scholes said, it's weird because I always felt like they played reasonably well throughout the whole game.
I think the Will Hughes injury actually helped him a little bit because they brought in a bit of speed. The Will Hughes, we know he's a really good footballer, but he hasn't got great legs. He hasn't got great speed about him. But they brought a couple of players on who were quick and direct, and Pereira got the foul for the penalty, and I thought that did help him a little bit.
It looks like Everton have now turned their attention to Sam Allardyce rather than Marco Silva. It was interesting this week, Scott Duxbury, who's the chief exec here, chose to publicly say, hands off our players. The reality is, though, while Watford are playing this kind of football and winning games of football, the manager will be sought after. Richarlison is the kind of player that, people are going to be sniffing around. He came for 11 million quid. You could see him going for an awful lot more than that if he went to a Spurs or a Chelsea who we think are interested. It's kind of what will happen if you're successful. It's the price of success for Watford, isn't it?
Yeah, but you say successful. It's only been a few games into the season. We're not even halfway stage yet, but people are getting hyped up. And I think in today's day and age, I think hype or overhype is upon us. Is
Richarlison just hype, or is there more than that?
No, I think Richarlison's got huge talent. I think he's shown already that he's capable of doing it against the best teams. He's got a great way about him, very direct, very aggressive in the way when he gets the ball, skillful, and someone I'm sure a lot of the big clubs are looking at. And even the manager I'm talking about, listen, it can go the other way. You can have 5 or 6 bad games and you've gone from a good manager to a bad manager. We've seen that with Jose Mourinho at Chelsea. So the swing that it could take a turn so quickly either way is crazy. But that's the day and age when we live in.
I think they're both very talented. You can tell that, Richarlison and the manager, and they will be sought after. But from Watford's point of view, it's about planning. You kind of losing Richarlison in January and losing your manager now to Everton. It can mess up your season like that. So, if he does go, it'll be the right thing to stay here for the rest of the season and then do it, towards the end. But, see through, what he started this season.
The only thing is, though, what if they're offering him massive money?
Who? Everton? Yeah. Well, he's got a contract here, and Everton will offer massive money if they're desperate at the end. So.
Talking of manager moves, we believe that Alan Pardew is set to be announced as the new West Brom boss. No big surprise there, I don't think. That's been the talk the last couple of days, but apparently that is